Good morning, how are you? Yeah, here, so. Just starting our charge towards Friday. Almost there.
Forward back. Yeah.
Too late.
Oh, nice. Longer than an hour? Is there a reason why? And they came in after that. What? Okay. I don't know how to baby. It hurts me.
Let's go in for one more week.
Charlie, you got the one. Where are we missing? Yeah.
They started to move a little bit out away from the.
No, that's me, I do.
There's not a system.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I like my office is corner.
Yeah.
I mean, my other side.
Really? Oh, wow. Yeah, I wouldn't have made it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
I got my,
Camping,
I gotta make it home.
I've done it. I remember to, I guess I'll put it on, but not in the, I've only been sleeping in the tent, and that's. I'm like, camping, my friend was. So they went. Like one rafting at Mariah. Really was that place, and I remember I took some students. I'm at, at least they had like these, they had these, had their made tents already. So we weren't like sleeping on.
Same.
Yeah. Yeah, proper showers, like they had them out there. Where's the hotel? You know, like, do you get that interview?
He's pretty cheap.
Oh, wow. Yeah, yeah.
He, yeah, really.
Good morning, everyone. I'm gonna get us started. All right, I'm gonna call this meeting to order at 9:06 a.m. I'll go ahead and start with the land acknowledgement. Associated Students recognizes and acknowledges the first people of this ancestral and unceded territory of Fernandino Tataviam, Band of Mission Indians that is now occupied by our campus of California State University Northridge. Honors the elders past and present and the descendants who are citizens of the Fernandino Tataviam Band of Mission Indians. Associated Students recognizes that the tribe is still here and we are committed to lifting up their stories, culture, and community. I'll go ahead and hand it over to Attorney General Martinez for the roll call.
Thank you, Vice President Khan. Senator Aronson.
Here.
Senator Basilio. Here. Senator Gali.
Here.
Senator Gavino.
Here.
Senator Heminiano Aragon.
Here.
Senator Harris. Here. Senator Covenia. Senator Larios. Here. Senator Yoshi.
Here.
Senator Nadepute. Here. Senator Nunez. Senator Olgun. Senator Perez. Senator Pulliam. Here. Senator Toledo Carranza. Here. And Senator Tran.
Here.
Thank you. We have quorum.
Thank you. We'll now move on to the approval of the agenda for April 14, 2025. Is there a motion on the floor? Senator Basilio.
I move to approve the agenda for April 14th, 2025.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Pulliam. Any discussion on the approval of today's agenda? Seeing no discussion, if there are no objections to the approval of today's agenda, it will pass unanimously. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the agenda for April 14th passes unanimously. We'll move on to the approval of the minutes from April 7th, 2025. Is there a motion on the floor? Senator Gavino.
Move to approve the minutes from April 7th, 2025.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Natapudi. Any discussion on the approval of the minutes? Seeing none, if there are no objections to the approval of the, all right, seeing none, the minutes from April 7th, 2025 pass unanimously. We'll now move on to special presentation. Our first one with being the Data Governance Policy and Standards feedback with Janet O and Kevin Krasinski. Did I pronounce that right? Actually, okay. We'll pull up the presentation right now.
It's on now. Okay. Thank you for having us. I'm Janet O. I'm the Senior Director of Institutional Research.
And I'm Kevin Grzywinski, and I'm the Information Security Officer here at CSUN.
We're here representing the Data Governance Committee. So just to give you a little bit of an overview, data governance work is work that we've always done, but many institutions, not just colleges and universities, are now trying to formalize that work. And what data governance includes is really ensuring that we're properly managing as well as providing access to data and documenting how we're doing all of that work. So we're here to move ahead with the first step of this work on this campus. So the Data Governance Committee membership is up there. It's largely to demonstrate to you first that it's appointed by the Vice President of Academic Affairs, the Provost Komaraju, and the Vice President of IT, the CIO, VP Philip. And it has wide representation across the campus from all of the divisions as well as the auxiliaries. And it includes administrators, staff, faculty, and students. Your AS Vice President is actually on the committee. The Data Governance Committee charge is up there. I don't know. Our data policy, data governance policy and standards is the first step of this work. And so we're moving forward with that now and here to share with you drafts of the policy and standards for feedback. And we're doing that widely across campus. So the charge to the committee comes from the VPs and includes a wide variety of responsibilities. Once we formalize the policy and standards, we'll move on to some of the rest, including developing training for data users and data stewards. And the last year has been spent working on the policies and standards drafts that we're going to share with you today. This is actually our first meeting sharing the drafts, so thank you very much for having us. We're going to spend this month and next month sharing them out broadly across campus, gathering feedback, as well as through the summer gathering feedback. There will be a feedback form at the end of the slides, as well as a link to the draft so that you can review them in more detail. And then we'll incorporate that feedback across campus, hopefully come back to you in the fall to share a more revised draft.
You know, I mean, the reason we're doing this is because, I mean, it is a vital concept. I mean, the overall data management within the organization, data used for both, to make, it's used to, as I said, it's an asset. And so the goal is really to codify the existing work as Janet did mention. And, for instance, how we implement FERPA on our campus. Really, we have a combination. I mean, we're obligated to protect the data. We're obligated to protect privacy, of students, faculty, and staff, but then also use the data within the organization to help students graduate, to more efficiently, package and send financial aid. And so really, it's both to inform decision making throughout the organization. And also to, make sure it's privacy of the students, faculty, and staff, and that the data is protected wherever it is in the university. So it's, in order to do that, I mean, the data must be, accurate, timely, and consistent, and obviously well protected. We didn't, as Janet mentioned, we didn't, invent. I mean, we're doing data governance, throughout the organization. I mean, people are making decisions about data. Data is being protected, privacy. we're just codifying it. And also, I mean, we didn't go and invent all these policies and standards. There's data governance frameworks that exist, you know, in academia. There's, you know, policies and standards that other organizations or universities are ahead of us. So we divided it up into, you know, this set of, you know, policies and standards. Each one, you know, unique in the sense that, you know, someone that is involved in data governance can take it, read it and understand it. So as a summary, it's really, you know, I mean, there's two main, you know, functions within there. It's really data owners and data stewards. So data owners, these are, you know, vice president level. Dr. Watkins, for instance, owns all student data in the sense that, you know, he's responsible for it, both, you know, as a regulatory and also just, you know, managing it. And then there are data stewards, and these are the day-to-day heads of a department, you know, financial aid, you know, Janet in institutional research. And really what we do in data governance is summarize the CSU and CSUN policies. And so there is an information security. We've got 800 pages of information security policy out there. What this does is it summarizes it in the context of data governance. It's important to have data quality. And the reason of data quality is if you are going to make a decision, if you're going to, for instance, you know, package a student's financial aid, you want to make sure that that data is accurate and timely, and, you know, is used for its original intent. You know, metadata is really just to give context so that, you know, if data is being used, the user of that data understands what its purpose is, what its origin, and how it can be used. We have a couple of use cases that, you know, we'll go through to give you an example of how to use, you know, both our standards and data governance. Back in November 23, the CSU Academic Senate, you know, came out and stated, you know, that you know, a student's legal name should only be used in certain contexts where there is a legal requirement. And so we had a project, we went through, made sure we have about 250 different data sources and systems around at CSUN that contain data. And so we made sure that, you know, we're only sending, you know, kind of the live name to all these systems except in the requirements, for instance, financial aid. And just going through the standards and what we have, I mean, one is, you know, obviously information security. So it is protected as a high level piece of data. The data owners, I mean, so for the employee data, names are managed by, you know, the AVP of Human Resources, Christina De La Vega. And on the student side, the owner is Dr. Watkins, but names are ubiquitous. There are multiple, and pretty much every system has names. And so the data stewards understand, you know, and part of data governance is to make sure that they understand, you know, how to use that data, what that data is, and how to share that data.
Another use case example that we thought would be helpful in understanding the need for these data standards, data governance standards, was I've been in this role for about a decade now. And when I first came into the role, there was a lot of confusion over people would come to me and say, we got lists from you. They don't match other lists we have. And what I didn't understand was why they were getting multiple lists of the same variety. And in the case I'm going to share with you, it had to do with commencement lists. So people who work on commencement want to know who's graduating to help with the celebration activities, right? And apparently I learned they were coming to both IR, institutional research, and back then it was called admissions and records, now enrollment services, the registrar's office, for the same lists. This was a historical consequence. They didn't know why this was the case. But that was a really important part of understanding sort of the data access and use procedures, which were not clear. And so what we worked out even before data governance was formalized was that we would have one place that everyone comes to for student data, which is to IR. I not often, but sometimes we'll send them elsewhere but it's important to have a very clear path to data access and to clarify who the data stewards are. The data owner for all student data is the VP of Student Affairs, Dr. Watkins, but there are multiple data stewards depending on the kind of data. So IR is just one of the data stewards for student data. Data quality is also very important. The reason why they were getting different kinds of lists was that it was unclear the definitions of how they wanted to identify students who were eligible for graduation. We pull those lists slightly differently than the registrar does. And after we talked to them, we realized, oh, you should actually be getting it from the registrar rather than from IR because it's their definition that you want. And that also brings me to metadata, the coding of the data. That took a long time for us to understand why our lists were different. And had we had clear metadata on what we were doing, it would have been a smoother process. So this is to really point out the ways in which having these data governance standards will really help to clarify data work on this campus and really formalize and document what we're doing. So we hope those examples were helpful. We do encourage you to go take a look at the drafts. As Kevin pointed out, there's a lot of them. You might want to go and pay special attention to the ones that stood out to you. So we have some QR codes up there, as well as some bit.ly links. The first one is to the actual data governance drafts. I'm going to send you an updated version of these slides. I had to update the second link, which is to the feedback form. But when you're in there, you'll have the updated slides. And so in the folder, you have the slides as well as the drafts of the data governance policy and standards. And then I will also send you the updated slides that have the second link that provides a link to a feedback form. It's pretty basic. It's just a few questions. You don't have to answer all of them. It's just to get a sense of what kinds of input you have. It can be anonymous. You can include your name if you prefer to talk to us about your feedback. You can also leave your email address and someone will reach out to you to schedule a meeting. So we really hope to get some feedback. It's very important to us that we get feedback from students especially. So feel free to share this widely in your networks as well so that we can get a wide variety of feedback. So thank you. We're here. I think we probably have a few more minutes for questions if people have questions, or you're always welcome to reach out to us by email as well.
Does anyone have any questions? Okay, well, I've resent the link to everyone as well. So if you all can just check that out on your own time and provide feedback because it is important that we provide that student feedback. So, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to our next special presentation. Dr. Sheila Steinberg from the Institute for Sustainability. We're going to pull up your presentation right now.
Good, you're awake? Good. Yeah, you're here. Great. So nice to meet all of you. My presentation is on the CSUN Institute for Sustainability, talking about updates and opportunities. So I thought I'd start by just asking this question, what is sustainability? So you guys I put some stuff up there, but what do you think? When you hear the word sustainability, what do you think of? Don't be shy. I know you guys are leaders for the students. What do you think sustainability is? Just what in your mind, what is it? Yeah.
Leaving less of an impact on the world.
Yeah, totally. This side of the room, any thoughts? Yeah.
Like environment and climate change.
Yeah, full on. Anybody else? Nope. You guys, you're
A lifestyle you won't have to change later in your life.
exactly. Yeah, so thank you. So I just started this job August 1st of this year, and but I used to work up at Humboldt, Cal Poly Humboldt. Have you guys heard of that school? Up the road, pretty far. And one thing I learned from being at Humboldt was that you can be too eco-groovied out that you alienate people, right? Like that's what happened up at Humboldt. Like everybody was so eco, wearing hemp and patchouli and Patagonia, that if you weren't doing that, like heaven forbid if you were Old Navy or you ate at McDonald's, psych, you were out, okay? No, you're not environmental. So one thing we're trying to do here with sustainability is to broaden it out, to really focus on people, equity, culture. We know CSUN, the strengths of CSUN are our culture. We're very diverse here. I'm diverse. I'm half Indian, Southeast Asian, Indian, and resiliency, how people come back, engagement with people in place, environment, and taking action. So we don't just want to talk about stuff. We want to do stuff, all right? We want to do things to make the environment a better place. So who am I? Well, you know, I'm the director, but I also write a lot of books. So these are the books, some of the books I've written over the years. And I'm really into climate. I just have a brand new book that came out. It's an edited volume, Climate, Vulnerability, and Health. And the thing I'm most proud about with that book is I have a student, I used to teach at Chapman, one of my former Chapman students wrote the intro or the foreword, and she makes movies. So she has a new movie that's out called Healing Lahaina. And so I want to really connect. As scientists, we can always do the science, but sometimes it's really boring, right? It's really like in some other language that normal people don't understand. So we're trying to translate that. And this is the goal of the Institute, to translate it, make it more fun. I'm a change agent. I believe in building community. And so that's what we're trying to do with the Institute. In this picture, you see Senator Henry Stearns. So we had a big event in March called the Wildfire Symposium and Career Fair. We brought together 2 politicians, Senator Stearns, Senator Menjivar, and then we had a bunch of leaders from the region who deal with the world of wildfire and environment. And we also were trying to we brought in local community members and CSUN members as well, students. And our goal was to try to connect students up to jobs, because it's all about workforce, to try to connect students up to important people like politicians so they can have a conversation with them, to connect people up. We had about 40 or 50 nonprofits there, agencies, nonprofits, and they got to talk to students about opportunities. So this is our goal. It's really, let's bring it to students so that it can be really focused on opportunity. We also called it an opportunity fair. And with CSUN, some of the stuff we've been doing and with younger kids is bringing them out, partnering. So I'm a professor in geography as well, and environmental studies, but I work with people all over the whole school, the whole university. And I partner with this great professor named Cedric Hackett, and he leads the Dubois Center. But he's very good, very connected to, these are middle school kids. So we brought middle school kids out. We flew drones with them. We took them to the garden. We made it fun. Because we want people to feel that you don't have to be some weirdo scientist all like that. You can come and have fun. And do you like my sound effects in the morning? Yeah. You can come and have fun and learn. And so this is where we're trying to head. We want to do this with students too. So I want to bring up this topic called climate change engagement. This is in my chapter. I focus on this in my new book. And really, why am I bringing it up? I'm not saying this because I want you to buy my book, but I'm saying it because I think the real idea is about people and place and working with local society. So this is what we want to do. We want to work with with you guys. We want to engage with you guys. You have it hooked up. You are the leaders of the CSUN students. We want to work with you. It's been great. I've been talking with Katie. I'm housed in the AS building, that glass building, with James, who's the leader of the AS over there, and also with Liz. Liz, can you stand up? So Liz is the sustainability coordinator, and we work together a lot because she's part of AS. So this is the student I was telling you about. So she has this, she shared this with me. She's like, I think this quote is really important for you to be aware of, Dr. Steinberg. Climate change will manifest a series of disasters viewed through phones with footage that gets closer and closer to where you live until you are the one filming it. So this happened to her. So she lived in Hawaii. She wrote about how the climate change was happening in Hawaii. She's from Maui. Her family's house burned down. And she tells a story about how she went to the beach and the cup melted, and it never melted. The styrofoam cup never melted on the beach before. And she knew something was up. A year later, the fires hit Maui. Okay. So this is interesting. Then she was living in LA when the fires recently happened in January. How many of you were impacted from the fires? Anybody? Yeah. Did you have to move or?
I was evacuated for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks. Wow. So you were impacted. Yeah. So we talk about how it can seem like this nebulous concept that gets overly politicized until it becomes personal, right? And then nobody cares what you call it. It could be my house burned down. You could call it that. Forget climate change. But we need to establish that understanding and education about it. So I see that since I got here, we've been going to basketball games and doing canned food drives. That's a picture with Dr. Hackett in the garden. He channeled Dr. Martin Luther King. We did an MLK Day event where we had kids from Northridge Academy come out, students, faculty, people from the community, staff, and it was really fun. And we had a class come from Northridge Academy that were photographers, and they took pictures. And we learned about Martin Luther King in the garden, and then we did a hands-on activity. So we have a garden as well, because we feel that that's a great learning environment for people to be able to get out there. In this other picture, we have a very cutting-edge hipster geospatialist named Frank Romo. And he's making geospatial technology mapping, that's mapping with technology. Cool. There's not enough people doing GIS to even hire in the country. The Department of Labor says this. So why can't CSUN produce some, right? I do a lot of work in this area. We're bringing GIS more into what we're doing with the Institute as well. So why can't we get our students hired, right? Again, tying back to workforce. We have a fun event coming up. It hasn't really made it into all the PR for the Earth Week, but because we added it late. But did you guys know CSUN has a record label? Did you know? You knew, okay, because you're in the know. Of course you knew. And so we have some of the signed artists, two of the signed artists coming out to make music in the garden. We'd love to invite you out there. It's on April 23rd. So it's the day before Earth Fair, which is put on by Associated Students. We support that as well on the 24th. We're the 23rd. So our garden's located behind the baseball fields over near parking lot G6. We'd love to have you come out and support some of these artists there. So these are the kind of collaborations we're trying to do. We're trying to just infuse a little more with the students, with the community. This is one of the Associated students who actually works for AS. She was over there. Liz's office you could see Liz's office doors open down at the corner. My office is in there too, but these are some things I thought that these are things AS already does, but I feel like we could come in on it more, especially since our mandate is education and outreach, to make sure we're hooking into that component and in collaboration. But really that number 5 is quite important, translating sustainability into something that is relatable, right? Another way to say that is meeting students where they are. Because you can be all scienced out, climate changed out, eco-groovied out, but if you don't try to talk to people about what's important to them, jobs, immigration, safety, politics, etc., then nobody's going to want to talk to you. So this is the thing that I feel like I'd like to be closer to you guys and work with you more. And so please do feel free to reach out if you have any ideas, because we'd love to be able to partner with you. Now, I don't know, you guys are not from the 70s, but I used to watch TV in the 70s, and there was this man there in this picture. His name's Steve Austin, and he's the $6 million man. And back in the 70s, this show was cutting edge. It was he was in an accident, his airplane crashed, and then he was all mangled, and then they had to rebuild him, and they built him with technology. So he had an eye that could see, he could run really super fast as a train. So they said they built him better, stronger, faster. So we want to be like Steve Austin, and there was a bionic woman too, and she could listen, Lindsay Wagner, she could listen and hear. So we want to be like the bionic man and the bionic woman combined. Okay, so kind of androgynous bionic people. And we feel that sustainability must be planned together, that resilience, you guys, have you heard that word resilience? That's being able to come back. Maybe you get slapped down, but boom, you come back, right? That's CSUN. That's you guys. That's our students. That's our community. That's our faculty. That's what we want to be part of, that resilience to everything that's going on, and really infusing tech with environment. I really think that's part of the future as well. So I was glad to hear the prior people talking about data. Involve people and engage with people and places. You know the Olympics are coming here, right? You know that. I mean, they're coming to this region. There's going to be some events in the Valley. Why aren't we telling the story of that? I'm having some of my students do that. You know the Super Bowl's coming, right? in the future, I think 2027. And you know, the World Cup is coming in 2028, no, 2026. That's the soonest one. Why aren't we engaging? Why aren't we telling our story? Why aren't we like getting part of that, like from a sustainability standpoint? So these are some thoughts. If you guys have ideas and you want to brainstorm with me, reach out. I'm Sheila.Steinberg@CSUN. So would love to hear from you, and thanks. I'll take any questions or comments. Thanks so much.
Thanks, yeah. Any questions from the board?
When people try to discuss sustainability, especially in regards to what changes you personally can make to your lifestyle to be more sustainable, the usual like sort of knee-jerk response is, well, I don't know what in my lifestyle I could possibly change, because in a lot of cases, the things that happen to have the most environmental impact are also either conveniences for some people who just aren't willing to let go, or
Right.
Services that they actually need to function, and the distinction between the two can be very hard to tell for any given person. So in those kinds of cases where you're not really sure what there is you can change, but you also don't want to make the assumption that you can just go for an all frugal lifestyle with none of the benefits and conveniences of modern society, what is some advice you have?
Yeah, and I would say that's a stereotype right there. And that's the eco groovy stuff that I ran into up at Humboldt. And so I'm trying to bust that. And so I guess I would approach it by not saying, what can you change? But I would begin with, what do you do? What are you psyched about? What are you good at? What do people in your culture do? You know, like in my culture and in a lot of cultures, like, so I'm half Indian, people always reuse everything, but we weren't like billing it as like, we're sustainable. But if like we went on a trip, man, we would have those snacks packed like for the whole day and night for 3 days. And we'd have like a thermos. Have you heard of a thermos? It's very 70s, where you'd carry your coffee. You would not go to Starbucks. You would like carry, but there was no Starbucks. So I would say we begin with, what do you do? What are you passionate about? And then we work it backwards to say, well, what do you think about? What do it could be one of those things that different cultural groups already are doing this, but we fail to recognize it as sustainability, right? So it doesn't mean you have to become smart, sparse, and live in a mountain and be wearing like hemp and rocks and stuff, rock earrings. It doesn't mean that, but it means that, what do you have that's going on? And tech is part of it too. I mean, really infusing the technology to be better, stronger, faster, like the $6 million man or the $6 million woman. This is where technology can really come into play and save resources. So we want to work smarter, not harder. Yeah, but it's a great question. All right.
Thank you. Any other questions? Oh, yeah, Tucci, go ahead.
Permission to speak first, please.
Oh, yeah, granted. Oh, Senator Perez,
Permission to be recognized.
granted. Those are two people that came in late. But yeah, does anyone have any other questions?
Yeah, go.
Oh, yeah.
So usually, I guess in some way, whether or not like you needing to be more sustainable is kind of seen as either a nice thing to strive for some people, or an absolute necessity, depending on where you are in life.
Right.
As of now, where do you think the people as a whole think about sustainability? Is it like a neat concept to them? How much of them think it's like a serious thing that they have to engage with, whether they like it or not? And do you think that the sort of urgency perceived in the concept of sustainability might have any influence on how much people will sort of try to push for, I guess, being more mindful about it?
Right. So I'll start with your last question first. And I would say, yes, definitely cost plays a factor. It's easy when you're rich to say that you're sustainable. You could buy an EV, right? You could buy an expensive EV. It's harder than to say, and where are people at? We do a survey every year, and I'd be happy sometime to come back and present the results of that. We just have a new policy brief out that Liz, that has been a co-editor with us from Associated Students, talking about gender and sustainability. So we compared men and women and how they were men and women, males and females, and their perceptions of sustainability here. People are generally open to the concept, but a lot of people don't know what it means. And a lot of people depending on your political orientation, could be put off by it because of exactly what you said. It almost implies anti-capitalism if you say that not making money if you say you're sustainable. So we want to turn that on its head because there's a lot of creative ways to get after it and to make money and to engage and to get students jobs. And that's really what we're trying to work on with the workforce development part. But do please feel free to reach out because you guys are smart. And I enjoyed talking with you. So thank you so much, President Katie.
Yeah,
and your team.
anytime. And I've had a good. Oh wait, yeah. Go ahead, Senator Pulliam. Sorry.
I know that you had mentioned like all these different like huge events coming to like Valley or around this area, and you were saying that you want us to engage more, and you're having some of your people like start to try to tell those stories. What does that look like? I'm unsure what that.
Yeah. So I'm teaching a graduate class right now called Environment and Geography. And we meet on Saturdays. Like I was so stupid but no, I wasn't, because we get to go on field trips. And we have a lot of students who do GIS and some who don't. So we've taken a team approach to storytelling. And I feel like the theme of our wildfire symposium was all you students bring something to the table, whether or not you're technological, whether you're a journalism major, whether you're an art major, whether you're a business major, whether you're a chemistry major, you bring some skills. So let's find a way to harness those skills, build teams, tell those interesting stories about the Valley that haven't been told, because Valley flies under the radar. Everyone's like, LA, LA, I'm going to LA, and there's like Tom Cruise riding a motorcycle. What about the Valley? Like we have Valley Girls, we have the car culture, we just had an EV car show and we hooked it up with EV cars, but why not the culture of the Valley, the people and places of the Valley? So I'm moving on that, doing that in my class, but also external, so to the class. So anybody who's interested in working on that, reach out. Would love to incorporate your AS if you guys, because I'm sure you all are. How many people are from somewhere in the Valley? Can I see your show of hands? Okay. And you don't have to be from the Valley to care about it because you're here, right? So if you have a passion, how many people have a passion for the Valley? Do you guys have a passion for the Valley? We're in it. Luckily, it didn't burn up. Okay.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, well, thank you. It's been a pleasure. I mean, we have been meeting since I started my presidency, and
Yeah.
it's great, sharing this student insight and stuff like that. I encourage all of you to, have a chance to meet with Dr. Steinberg, especially if you're going to be an AS again next year, and with any of your legislation and stuff like that.
Would love
So
it.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Awesome. All right, we'll move into open forum. Open forum is intended as an opportunity for any member of the public to address the Associated Student Senate regarding any issues affecting CSUN students. Speakers are allowed 3 minutes each to speak. Please sign in using the clipboard for minute recording purposes. Is there anyone here for open forum?
Good morning, everyone. You have to give me a second. My voice is still out of whack from the weather in the East Coast. I can barely speak. But I came here today to talk about SB 242506, which is being voted on and checked on today, which is a call to uplift cultural houses and resource centers at this campus. I am coming today as a representative of Mecha de CSUN, the Movimiento Estudiantil Chicano de Atlan, and I am coming here to raise concern in regards to the policy being placed on this resolution, as well as the current shortcomings that are being put into effect for the Chicano House and for Mecha. So I'm not sure if you are aware, as of right now, the Chicano House is the only student house that is not open full-time to student access. The Omatsu House, the Black House, and even the La Casita is open full-time to students thanks to the work of student faculty who are there full-time to allow students to take advantage of all the resources and materials they have access to. This is not the case for the Chicano House. Mecha, and an extension, all Chicano serving institutions have been long-serving standards of CSUN and its Hispanic Serving Institute. Mecha has existed since 1968 and has been one of the longest-standing institutions for social and justice change in the Valley, in the US, and in California. So I consider it a ridiculous oversight that the Chicano House has no student representative currently serving its halls. Right now, if a Latino student or Chicano student or Hispanic student wishes to receive resources, access, or support on their campus, there is no such avenue for them to do that. There is avenues for African American and for Asian students, and there is not that avenue for Latino students, despite being a Hispanic serving institute. This is, again, a ridiculous oversight. I want to mention again on the resolution 06 being passed, the immense appreciation for the funding being allocated to all the cultural houses. It is a significant amount of money that is going to benefit us immensely, but at the same time, there was no discussion given to the Chicano House or to MECHA or any of the organizations who fund Chicano House on where this money is going, how it's being allocated, or how it's being used. This is an instance of lack of communication between associated students and the cultural institutions that harbor CSUN's body. So that is something I wanted to bring up, and I am here formally to ask and to hopefully call for the implementation of a full-time student worker or a full-time faculty in the Chicano House to finally allow, after 60 years, a place for Latinos to properly be able to support their student body and support the organizations that call CSUN home. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. I will respond right now really quick. So to provide some background, which I was also going to provide in discussion, stipulation for the funding will be discussed with Dr. Freddie Sanchez, as well as members of the houses. I just need the resolution to be approved and the budget to be approved, because it doesn't really make sense to have conversations with people on where the money is going if we don't have the money yet. But thank you for your comment. I really appreciate it. All right. Is anyone else in here for public comment?
Hello. Um, Hello, everyone. I am the chair of DI here with Associated Students. I finally had the time to come in for an open forum. I kind of just want to cover things that I have been doing on my end as the chair of DI, especially regarding issues alongside DEI. 2 weeks ago, I've had 3 events, which was on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The first being El Ittisal short film, which is regarding 3 Lebanese American siblings that face challenges amongst the war in Lebanon. And then Wednesday, I had my humanities event or our humanities event with Senator Basilio. And then Thursday, I had my queer prom with the Pride Center. And then our upcoming events will be this week, starting tomorrow. I will have the cultural fair alongside the farmers market. We will hopefully be having a bunch of cultural clubs and orgs to be there. And I hope to see you guys there. If you can make it, come through. And then on Thursday, I also have my Deaf and Hard of Hearing event, which is celebrating deaf power. We will be covering 3 activities that mark the deaf and hard of hearing community. So it will be a very great way to engage and to also learn about the community as a whole. I also wanted to give a big shout out to the candidates who've won from MVM for our next year's AS. So yeah, I just wanted to come on here and kind of introduce myself and properly come here, since I've been a little bit busy within the morning, so I can't really come Monday morning. So I'm glad I was able to come today. And yes, touching a little bit about Caesar's topic regarding MECHA, I did speak to Genesis, who is the president, and she does have a few concerns, and I will hopefully be reaching out to her alongside Freddie Sanchez just to properly have things executed. Yeah, so.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good to see everyone here after last week Senate was a little bit empty. But I'm here to congratulate everyone for the election season. I feel like we have never, at least in my experience here, we've never had this much student engagement, and I was really proud of it. Everyone was talking about elections, regardless of maybe they just wanted food, right? But still, I feel like students knowing what AS is and just getting involved was really good. And of course, Nessie, our chair of elections, is going to do the whole report. But from what we were listening on the elections party reveal, the turnout was around 8.5-ish. And then that consists of about 3,000 votes. So definitely a good turnout. And I'm here just representing, as Omar mentioned, the slate that I ran with, Matador Voices Matter. A lot of our senators got elected, and I also want to congratulate the 3 independent candidates who won, one of them being Senator Gavino. So I wanted to congratulate them, and I also wanted to congratulate our current chair of Legislative Affairs, Kiri Saravia, as she will be the Associated Students President for the following year. So I'm really excited to be working alongside her. And I know that she is someone who deeply cares about students. So she's going to be, she's looking forward to working with everyone. And of course, congratulate the USU BOD candidates who also won. However, I also wanted to mention that yesterday, the California State Student Association had their elections, and our current president, Katie Karoom, was elected as the Vice President of System-Wide Affairs. Is that correct? Okay, perfect. Yes. So I just want to have this moment to recognize how, as AS student leaders, we have really valued our experiences, and we're really up there representing CSUN and making sure that our voices are there and the discussions not only in the administration as a university, but also system-wide. And I also want this to be a moment to remember to our commitment to serving and representing thousands of voices, not only our own, to make sure that we are taking into consideration feedback to thoroughly understand how we can fully represent our students. And of course, using this to be the leaders that we can inspire the future generation of the people who will be sitting here. So thank you, and we'll be seeing each other right now.
Thank you so much. Anyone else here for open forum? Yeah.
Oh, there I am. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Liz. I'm the AS Sustainability Coordinator, and I'm just going to give kind of a rundown of everything that's going on for Earth Month. So April is Earth Month, so we're in kind of full swing in a lot of sustainability related events. So the first one that we have is for next week, we have Refill and Repair, which is on Earth Day. So we do have our regular Refill and Repair setup. But we'll also have other activations as well to celebrate Earth Day. A couple of things that I also wanted to mention, just some sustainability wins from this program. So we were able to divert more than 600 plastic containers from landfill just from this semester. So I think that deserves a round of applause for everyone. For everyone who just participated and chose to, try something new or do something differently. That not only serves the students that are here, but it also helps support local businesses who are providing the service, but then also it benefits the planet. So just goes to show that these sustainability related events do work for the students, but then also our mission to be more sustainable as a campus and to really spread that message and outreach about sustainability. So also we have our big Earth Fair that's coming on Thursday, April 24th at Baramian Lawn. And so the theme is Protect Our Species. So we have a bunch of different local organizations that are going to be tabling, who are doing a lot of work with protection for wildlife, plant life, and just how we can get students involved. So my mission was for, tablers to be from our local organizations around the valley so that people can learn more about what they can do, because with climate and also just environmental justice and sustainability, it's an action, right? And so we just want to expose people to more opportunities where they can help their communities and then also just get more involved. So, and also there's going to be a lot of food, drinks, and also like different kinds of crafts that you can do with your friends. So come out if you can on Thursday, April 24th for Earth Fair. Let's see. Oh, and so since it is Earth Month, I also wanted to mention that, this is kind of an opportunity for us to think about these questions about sustainability and how we can get involved. I feel like everybody who is into sustainability, they were like where everybody is at now, where, you might not know a lot about it and it might be something that you're interested in, but you're not really sure how to get involved. So I think something that I gravitated towards when I got into sustainability was, how do you provide for your community, or how do you connect with people? Like, you can recycle all day long, but the whole foundation of sustainability is community. How do we connect with each other? How can we lean on each other? How can we support each other? So like with refill and repair, majority of the containers that we were able to give to students were reused. They were donated by people. So not only did we not have to buy new and use a lot more resources to get those jars shipped out to us and even made. So we were able to really lean on people and their donations. So thinking about how you can support your community, your friends, your family, how can you borrow from each other? How can you swap different skills with each other so that you stay connected with your people and you kind of like stray away from that like individualistic mindset and think about how you can benefit together. So, but thank you.
Thank you, Liz. All right. Anyone else here for open forum? No, Daniel? Whatever. Okay, we'll go on to unfinished business then. So our first item of unfinished business is to approve the 2025-26 AS annual budget with an line item for an amendment. I'll say this before the motion. We're gonna recommend that this item is tabled again. The reason for that is because we needed to approve the resolutions prior to any budget amendments that I had recommended. So the budget would be approved at next Monday's meeting, and then the resolutions approved today. So the call to action in support of undocumented students, and then on the special meeting agenda, the other two resolutions, because they have to align with the budget and what we're recommending. So is there a motion on the floor? Senator Aronson.
I move to table line item A under unfinished business to approve the 2025-2026 AS annual budget till next week.
Yep. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Perez. Any discussion? And Denise clarifying, we're gonna need a separate motion to approve the amendment to table, right? Yeah, okay. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll take it to a vote. All in favor of tabling the approval of the 2025-26 AS annual budget to next week, please raise your hand. This passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, we'll now move on to the line item right below to approve the amendment to the budget to allocate $40,000 for unassigned contingency to the legal clinic. I also would recommend we table this because we can't approve an amendment if we're not approving the agenda at the same time. Is there a motion on the floor? Senator Nadapudi.
I move to table the amendment to the budget to allocate 40,000 from an assigned contingency to the legal clinic till next week.
Thank you so much. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Perez. Any discussion? So just as an FYI, so this is an amendment because it wasn't previously on the agenda, on the budget. So we're just putting it back on the budget because it's always been on the budget for every year, as we all know. So it's not an extra 40,000, it's just the actual 40,000 that has always been on the budget. Any other discussion? Okay, we'll take this to a vote then. All in favor of approving, all in favor of tabling the amendment to the budget to allocate $40,000 from unassigned contingency to the legal clinic to next week, please raise your hand. This passes unanimously. Thank you. And then same thing for the recommendation to table this one to next week. The approval of the 2025-26 Code on Finance and Procedures. Is there a motion on the floor? Senator Aronson.
I move to table line item B under unfinished business to approve the 2025-26 Code on Finance and Procedures until next week.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Perez. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll take this to a vote. All in favor of tabling the approval of the 2025-26 Code on Finance and Procedures to next week, please raise your hand. This passes unanimously. Thank you, everyone. All right, we'll now move on to our last item of unfinished business, which is to nominate and approve a Senate representative for judicial court. I watched the Senate video and I saw that you all decided to table it because of low attendance, which makes sense. Attendance still isn't perfect, but it's okay. Yeah, it's actually not bad. All right, so we'll go ahead and begin. So I think we all know the process for this. If you'd like to nominate yourself or another person, you may do so at this time. Senator Perez.
I nominate Senator Pulliam.
Thank you. Senator Pulliam, do you accept?
Aren't I not able to since I'm on?
Yeah, you're already on another committee. I was gonna say.
My bad.
It's okay.
Can I have a
Yeah.
point of information? What was can we clarify the time commitment one more time?
As far as I know, I mean, we have our Chief Justice here, so I can defer to him, but at the minimum, actually, I mean, I don't know. It's really kind of what the Chief Justice has in mind for his judicial court, because I've kind of given him that leeway of like, you know, it's the end of the year. You can decide what you want to do with your judicial court, in terms of meetings. I mean, at the minimum, it's like an hour or two a week. At the minimum. Is that accurate? Okay. Yeah. And I don't know if judicial court meeting time has been set. Yeah. Okay. So you could work alongside the Chief Justice to get that. Any nominations? Come on. Someone wants to work with Caesar here. I know. We'll be here all day. I can nominate someone. Oh, Senator Aronson.
I nominate Senator Tran.
Oh, Senator Tran, do you accept?
I decline.
Oh, he declines.
I nominate myself.
Okay, period. That's what I like to see. Okay, I was gonna nominate you if no one else was gonna do it. I was just like, yeah, that's okay. All right. Any other nominations? Okay, unopposed. What? No, I know. You guys are jumping out of your seats right now. Jeez. Okay, well. Okay, any other nominations? Going once, going twice. Sold. You could give a 1-minute spiel if you want. You don't have to because you're not going against anyone. But we will still vote to approve you. But do you want to provide a 1-minute spiel? You don't have to. No? Okay. All right. So we'll go ahead and take it to a vote then. So all in favor of approving Senator Larios to be the Senate representative for judicial court, please raise your hand. All opposed? All abstaining? You can vote. You have to vote too. One more time? Yeah, of course. Okay, so we'll do the vote again. Okay, so all in favor of approving Senator Larios for the Senate representative position for judicial court, please raise your hand. Okay, vote for yourself. Hey, all right, this passes unanimously. Okay, congratulations. Nice. All right, we'll now move on to new business. First motion is to enter committee of the whole. Is there a motion to enter committee of the whole? Senator Aronson.
I move to enter committee of the whole.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Perez. Any discussion on entering committee of the whole? Seeing none, we'll take that to a vote. All in favor of entering committee of the whole, please raise your hand. This passes unanimously. Great. We have now entered committee of the whole. First motion in the committee of the whole is to approve the SB 2024-25-004, a call to action in support of undocumented students as amended. Is there a motion on the floor? Senator Salado Carranza.
I move to approve SB 2024-25-004, call to action in support of undocumented students as amended.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Natapudi. Any discussion? Senator Gavino.
Hi, it's back. So if you look under 9 resolved, this is just adding the stipulation after Senator Toledo Carranza and I had the discussion with the Dream Center, and they said they'd be using the $20,000 that we decided to allocate them to the creation of fellowships. So this is just ensuring it goes to that, and then also ensuring that this is an annual donation. So yeah, you can read it. It says in the amount of $20,000 annually to support the creation of fellowships with the goal of, and then we changed they to the Dream Center to make it more clear because it was kind of unclear last time. So that's all.
Thank you. Any further discussion? So just as an FYI, this alongside 2 others were recommendations that I just made directly to the Finance Committee, but and I mentioned it just a second ago, but we have to have resolutions that back up the recommendations that we want to make or amendments to the budget. So this is one of them. It just has to be on a resolution. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, we will take this to a vote. All in favor of approving the amendment to the budget? Oh, my bad. Oh, all in favor of approving SB 2024-25-004, a call to action in support of undocumented students as amended, please raise your hand. This passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, we'll now move on to the second line item to approve SB 2024-25-005, Project Rebound Support for Staffing and Prioritization of Program. Is there a motion on the floor? Senator Basilio.
I move to approve SB 2024-2025-005, Project Rebound Support for Staffing and Prioritization of the Program.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Pulliam. Any discussion? Senator Harris.
This was made just based off of some of the opinions from Project Rebound. A lot of them had concerns about how the administration had dealt with one of the staffs. They also requested for more support on staff, and they also requested more on funding and just support in general. They felt very unheard, and I think that this is the chance for Associated students to support them.
Any further discussion? I want to give a big shout out to Senator Harris. She's been working with Project Rebound, I think, ever since she became a senator. So I'm glad it's reached like a full circle moment with legislation. So good work. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll take this to a vote. All in favor of approving, all in favor of approving SB 2024-25-005, Project Rebound Support for Staffing Prioritization of Program, please raise your hand. This passes unanimously. Thank you. Congratulations. Awesome. Okay. Okay, we'll now move on to exiting committee of the whole. Is there a motion to exit committee of the whole? Senator Aronson.
I move to exit committee of the whole.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Gavino. Any discussion on exiting committee of the whole? Seeing none, we'll take this to a vote. All in favor of exiting committee of the whole, please raise your hand. Thank you. This passes unanimously. We'll now move into discussion on approving the recommendations of the committee of the whole. Is there any discussion? Senator Aronson. No? Okay. Yeah, we go straight into discussion, right? I was corrected last time, so I learned from my mistakes. Any other discussion? There was no discussion. Okay, we'll take it to a vote then. All in favor of approving the recommendations of the committee of the whole, please raise your hand. Thank you. This passes unanimously. Great, awesome, great work. All right, we'll move on to reports. Starting with mine. Good morning, everyone. Happy to be back. I was in DC last week. I will talk about that in my report. I'll say this at the start. I turned 22 last Saturday. Yay, I'm grown. Thanks. April 5th. There's no gifts in I'm just kidding. It's okay. But yeah, and then I had to go to DC a couple days after, which was fun. I want to start by congratulating our newly elected senators and president and vice president, as well as the incoming USU board of directors. Also want to give a big shout out to the chair of elections, Lezama, assistant chair of elections, Perry, Denise, and everyone that supported the AS and USU elections for the voter turnout this year. I'm looking forward to all the great work our next administration will accomplish, and I will try my best to ensure the incoming president and vice president have a smooth transition into their positions when the time comes. So talking about Hill Week, so I was in Washington, D.C. last week for CSU Hill Week. So we were in chess. I also went to Advocacy Day. So that was advocating for the CSU on the state level. But, oh, got an Amber Alert for an earthquake alert. Okay, I don't feel any shaking, so I think we're fine. So that was advocating for the CSU on a state level, but I went to DC to advocate for the CSU on the federal level, which was a really great experience. So me, President Beck, as well as the Associate Vice President for Government and Community Relations, Shafali Mistry, we had 4 meetings with members of Congress. So we had meetings with Brad Sherman, Laura Friedman, George Whitesides, and Luz Rivas. It was a really great experience. We were really just talking about and advocating for obviously being against the dismantling of the Department of Education, as well as the transferring of all federal loans to SBAs. They were, again, super receptive to us. I mean, it sucks because California is represented by a majority of Democrats, and they are already very opposed to the actions by the federal government. But what can you do? We do as much as we can. But I think some information for you all to know, if you don't already know already, is that CSUN is the largest distributor of Pell Grants in the state of California. We provide over $122 million to 21,000 of our 36,000 students. So if the federal administration's agenda does follow through, we would be taking a really, really, really massive hit. I had the chance to go to a Dodgers game in DC. They got swept, which was really disappointing because I was there with all my pride and they lost to the Nationals by like 7 points. And I was like, guys, are you serious? But yeah, it's okay. I was able to meet with the current CSUN and DC students. So that's a class/internship that you can participate in, that you'll go to Washington, DC for a semester and you'll get units for it. So I was able to meet with around 20 CSUN and DC students. So these are people that still go to CSUN, they're just in Washington, DC for the semester. And it was a really great experience just getting to know them and hearing how they like the program. I also met someone that's in the DC Scholars Program, but for another campus that has the same last name as me, which is really crazy. And we were I was like sitting down with my family tree, like, because my last name is not common, Karoom, like that's not like Smith, you know, it's just, so we were trying to go through our family tree. I think we actually are related, but like third cousins or something like that, but we didn't get in on it yet. So yeah, that was Hill Week. If anyone has any questions about that, you know, aside from my report, let me know. So the Executive Director Search and Screen Committee has selected its candidates to move forward to the second round of on-campus interviews, which are this week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Our HR manager, John Dobler, has sent an email out to you all inviting you to the open forum for students and student leaders that is going to be via Zoom. If you have any questions regarding the Search and Screen Search Committee and just the open forum, please let me or John know. We hope to see you at the open forum. It's very important that you all can attend if you're available. As Senator Heminiana Aragon mentioned, we had the CSSA elections for the next executive officers for the 2025-26 year yesterday, and I personally had a lot of meetings with candidates that were running for the various positions that were just pitching their campaigns to me. So the results of the CSSA election, so there's 5 executive officer positions. So the next president is going to be Tara El-Rohani, who's the current vice president of system-wide affairs. She goes to San Jose State. The vice president of finance is going to be Artur Gafarov, who is a student at San Jose State as well. The vice president of legislative affairs is going to be Derek Herrera. He's the current I don't know how I think it's vice president of external affairs. So our chair of legislative affairs, but for San Diego State. And then we're going to have to do a re-election in May for the chair position because the only candidate that ran unopposed did not receive an affirmative vote. So we're going to have to do a re-election. And I got elected to be the next vice president of system-wide affairs. I ran against 3 other people and I got 18 out of the 22 votes. So yeah, thank you. Thanks, everyone. So I mean, I also want to say, like, I definitely would not have won the election for VPSA if it weren't for all the people that have supported me in my various roles in AS. The people that have opened the doors for me and brought me to the table. And really, most importantly, all the people that have criticized my work during my time in AS, which has made me learn a lot about myself and what it means to show humility in new spaces by listening and educating myself before forming my own opinions. It has all motivated me to become a better version of myself so that these opportunities become attainable, and I'm very grateful for it. But that's really it. We have 3 Senate meetings left. Please make sure that you're working on your transition packets. If you have any questions about that, please be sure to email Vice President Khan. She's not here today. I'm not sure if she's coming in later, but make sure to reach out to her or Attorney General Martinez and they'll be able to help you out. We're going to be setting a due date on those pretty soon. But that's all for my report. Are there any questions on my report? Okay. Seeing none, give me 1 sec. Okay, we'll move on to the Vice President's report. Iman didn't really have a report. All she said was that she wishes everyone ease as the semester comes to a conclusion. Are there any questions on the Vice President's report? Okay, I'll move on to the Chief of Staff's report. We have a short report from the Chief of Staff who was unfortunately also unable to make it today because we only had 2 people, including Victoria, 3 people, including Victoria, that submitted their reports for cabinet. So Chief of Staff Victoria Ramos, last week she held her biweekly meetings and check-ins with cabinet members, Chair of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion regarding Spring into Unity. She has frequent meetings and check-ins with the Chair of Elections that took place over a 3-day period last week. She's also working on another fun office activity for AS leadership, which will be introduced next week during Senate. The next report is from the Chair of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Omar Joinat. So he mentioned his Spring into Unity event. The events in early April were great. Most successful was Queer Prom with 200 attendees. That is true. That was a great event. Shout out to Omar. He was working really hard. And then preparing for this week's cultural fair this Tuesday during the farmers market, April 15th, and celebrating Deaf Power this Thursday, April 17th. And then lastly, the Chairperson on Communications, Ruby Uribe. Ruby had sent out 2 interview requests. She has done, it's really just 2 interview requests. And that we're going to be closing the 2024-25 applications. And then her committee has some tabling scheduled for the end of the year. That is all of the cabinet reports. I guess if you didn't receive or didn't hear a report from a cabinet member, you can go and personally ask them what they've been up to, because I don't have it. Any questions on the Chief of Staff's report? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to the Chair of Finances report with Chair Ponce.
Hey everyone, first off, I hope you all had a great weekend. I'll start off with the account balances. So currently under STAR, there is $108,568. In unassigned contingency, there is $620,172. In the philanthropy fund, there is $15,000. And in clubs and orgs travel, there is $6,035,000. And in terms of my report, last week Finance Committee did not meet as I was out for a Model UN conference. And since we don't have an assistant chair, there was no quorum in Finance Committee. And aside from that, President Karoum already mentioned it, but the annual budget and Code of Finance are now tabled until next week because of those referendums. So I look forward to hearing discussion and just reviewing the other amendments that pertaining to the annual budget for next week. And aside from that, I plan to work on IRA budget allocations this week as IRA is currently working on those budgets. And aside from that, just continuing to work on STAR and supplemental requests and work on my transition packet. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on the Chair of Finances report? All right, seeing none, we'll hand it over to the Attorney General's report with Attorney General Martinez.
Hello, everyone. Please excuse my voice. The East Coast did not treat me kindly. But not much to report on, as I also wasn't here. I was also in New York for a Model UN conference. We did bring home some awards, so it was a very good week, very successful for Model UN. Join if you want to, no promo. For AS this week, I'll just be going over the agenda and minutes for all the committee meetings, so that way I can get brought up to speed for this week's meetings. I'm just going to be catching up on emails, scheduling any last minute meetings that I need to make sure that we can have a smooth transition into the last couple weeks that we have. Just to touch on what President Karoum and Leslie have said, congratulations to everyone that has won. I know how hard everyone was working for it, so I'm really happy for all of you. Also, transition packets, those have been sent out. If you did not receive one or can't find it, please reach out to me. Or if you have any questions, please reach out to me. We can get that started. Also, just some reminders. If you are running late or can't make it, you guys can text me. If you guys don't have my number, I can email you it again. Just so that way we make sure that if you're on your way or running late, we can account for quorum, because that's really important. So just a reminder on that. Almost 30 days left till we're done and graduate. So finish strong and stay committed to our students. Thank you.
Thank you. That was empowering. Any questions on the Attorney General's report? Okay. All right. We'll move on to the standing committee reports. First one with Senator Gavino of External Affairs.
Good morning. Excuse my voice as well too. I'm feeling a little under the weather, but we did not have External Affairs Committee meeting last week because we wouldn't have had quorum, just because people were involved with other things. So I guess that's a good thing. But outside of committee, I was able to meet with Genesis, the president of MECHA, alongside Senator Basilio and Chair Joinat. They were able to give us a tour of the Chicano house and see the space there. And they do have the room to have either a faculty member or a student assistant, but they just don't have the money to implement it. So we're going to look to see how we can change that in the coming weeks. And then I guess the last update is the search and screen committee for the Dean of the University Library is coming to an end very soon. So looking forward to wrapping up with that. We had a lot of great candidates. So I look forward to moving some of them forward to the provost's office. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions on the External Affairs report? Seeing none, we'll move on to the Internal Affairs report. Who's the Vice Chair of Internal? You, right? Do you have a report? Great. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. In Internal Affairs, we are still working on 7 referrals. I'll read them out to you. Add to the duties of the Chief Justice position, update the Vice President's Code, update and review the Chair of Personnel and Communications Code, amend the Attorney General Code, read out referrals that are tabled indefinitely, announcements of standing committee times, and an untitled legislative referral, basically debriefing reports of Senate. So some of these have to have meetings before we approve them in the committee and then send them to Senate, like I said last week. So we'll do that first before we send anything to you. And then, like I said last week as well, our cabinet code annual review process is starting. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. Any questions on the internal affairs report? All right, seeing none, we'll go on to the University Affairs report with Senator Aronson.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well, getting ready for finals. Don't mean to scare you, but it's only a few weeks away. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. From the University Affairs Committee, we are working on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 legislative referrals right now. Pretty excited about all of them. So the first one that we're working on is cold water in the SRC, trying to get some cold water in the SRC or maybe get an ice machine in there, so that the water is a little more enjoyable for people that are working out there or doing miscellaneous activities. The second one is 24-hour vending machines, trying to get more accessible vending machines across campus at all hours of the day and night, dusk till dawn. The third one is protecting our gardens on campus. I think that one is pretty self-explanatory. Trying to make sure that our gardens on campus are safe or more well-kept, and that we can sort of protect, a lot of the green that we have on campus. Our fourth legislative referral is football. Trying to get our football team back here at CSUN. Our fifth legislative referral is exclusive Matador highlights, trying to get some new types of advertising for our athletes. The sixth one is vending machine map, trying to make a map of vending machines across campus to make it more accessible. And our seventh one is add vending machines to the library. That one's also pretty self-explanatory. I'm trying to add some vending machines to the library for those who are studying late, and all of the other businesses on campus are closed. Again, as always, I want to give a shout out to all of my committee members. They're all working hard. I really appreciate all of their hard work. And everybody's doing great. I'm really excited about all the work that we've been able to get done. I hope everybody's doing well. If anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any questions on the University Affairs report? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and turn it over to the interim AS Executives report with Tim Shapansky.
Good morning, everyone. I also want to give a shout out to the elections team, Denise's team. Also the USU team, their IT, Brent and Alexander stepped up to help us run the polls. This was a better year than last year. We got 8.5% of the student vote, which is just over 3,000. So I think we're moving forward in getting students engaged. So I think we might have a good blueprint to use for next year and continue to increase that awareness and engagement. This Children's Center is got some interviews coming up for teacher positions here next week. Outdoor Adventures just wrapped up a rafting trip with the Bridge to the Future Scholar Program. Our cheer squad took second at nationals, and our men's soccer team took third in their conference playoffs this weekend. Just a couple quick updates. The USU night market is happening this Friday. The USU and the SRC will be closing at 3 p.m. So this entire space will be shut down. So if there is for any reason you need to get in here, please make sure you talk to Denise, because they'll have it closed off. I'm sorry? Oh, am I?
No, you do know what time it's at. Sorry.
I think it starts at 7. Yeah, I think it starts at 7, but they're closing down for setup at 3. And then the last thing, tomorrow taxes are due. So if you haven't started, good luck tonight and get them done. But if you have, good for you. And that's all I have for today.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Tim. Any questions? I also want to mention this on top of that. So yeah, USU event, 7 o'clock. I'm pulling it up. Yes, it's going to be from 7 to 11. And then, oh, I forgot to mention this in my report. I'm plugging it now. On Thursday, I'll be participating in a SWANA visibility panel. SWANA stands for Southwest Asian and North African, because of my ethnicity. So I will be sitting on a panel alongside some other CSUN students, talking about, my ethnicity and how it kind of impacts me. So if you guys would like to attend, go. All All right, we'll move on to the University Advisory Report with Asia Butler.
Good morning. I also want to give a shout out to Alyssa from the MIC. She serves as co-advisor for elections and helps out with different logistical things. So thanks, Alyssa. The other thing, this month, we're doing our Student Organization Award Ceremony. So that's going to be, I believe it's Wednesday, April 23rd. I know it's April 23rd. I'm sure it's a Wednesday. And it's going to be in the Northridge Center. So we'll be honoring our student organizations and advisors. We also have our Greek graduation celebration coming up on Wednesday, May 9th, right here in this location. So if you are or know a active fraternity or sorority member that is in a organization in good standing, please remind them to RSVP by the deadline, Friday, April 18th, if they're planning to participate. Last thing, just want to give just a public reminder, announcements. Some of you, one of the things we've been noticing, and the TUC has also noticed and brought to our attention, is that there's a lot of people around campus, mainly down by South Sierra Lawn, selling items. So it could be things that they're trying to thrift or whatever. Please keep in mind that everybody needs to have a reservation to be able to, sell or do things on campus. We don't approve individuals to sell items, for their own personal gain. It has to be associated with a fundraiser, either for a student organization or for a class project. So just remind yourselves and your constituents, if they see people out doing thrifting activities, that those may have been approved, and that doesn't mean that anyone can just be like, I'm going to set up a table and start selling my items or my wares anywhere on campus. So it's become an issue to even where the TUC is noticing it. So just wanted to put that out there for folks. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions on the University Advisors Report? All right, seeing none. Dr. Ward can't be with us today, but I have her report. I think you all have her report because I think she sent it to everyone. Give me one sec, but I will read it. She said, please respect each other during this time of faith and family, including Passover, Holy Week, celebrations of Easter, and other spring holidays. Next, examine components of your curriculum, major in classes that deal with and apply to the total person and apply to different aspects of you. Oh, that's poetic. Third, as you approach the final weeks of the semester, identify a personal mentor and serve as a mentor for navigating finals for a constituent, first-year student or transfer student. Finally, senators and DEI committee are invited to attend a research-based presentation conducted by Human Resources grad students at 4 p.m. on April 23rd in Redwood Hall, room 151. The presentation will last approximately 30 minutes. Thanks for wonderful work this semester. Any questions on the Faculty Advisors Report? All right, seeing none, I will move past information items, discussion items, legislative referrals into announcements, and then once announcements and final roll call are done, I will adjourn this meeting and then start our special meeting agenda. Are there any announcements? Senator Pulliam.
It's a fun little side note, but it reminded me when you were talking about it. I am in the CSUN and DC program for the summer, and I got an internship at the Smithsonian Museum for accessibility for the Folklife Festival, and that's really cool. And also too, I don't know if you met, but I was told that they actually have the first deaf student in the CSUN and DC program this semester. So that's something really cool as well.
I saw an interpreter at one of our events, and the interpreter, actually you're right. Yeah, because it was just like one or two people that were speaking with the interpreter, like the whole event. So yeah, okay, cool. Wow, that's awesome. Any other announcements? Senator Larios.
Personal point of privilege.
Granted. Any other announcements? Senator Harris.
There were a few people who also went to Model United Nations, and I just want to shout out Naraya for getting Best Delegate.
Hey, why don't you boast about yourself in your report? Okay, you won an award. Come on, clock it. Leslie, you won an award too? Hey.
So sorry.
No, this is good. This is helpful. Anytime anyone can find out what any of our achievements are, you have to say them. Because I know we have a lot of humble people here, but come on, guys. Senator Basilio.
As mentioned before, the CSSA elections were yesterday. I actually sat in on the elections. I can say that we will have a very similar year of CSSA as to what we had like every other year before. It kind of felt like a popularity contest sometimes and not really about the people's qualifications. So you should really sit in on CSSA meetings in general to see what that's like. So I don't really see anything changing for students anytime in the near future, but it was at least informative to see like how it goes down. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your opinion. Any other announcements? Senator Toledo Carranza.
Yeah, so over the past a year, almost 2 years, I have been working with the Season Teaching Effectiveness Task Force. And so I just wanted to announce that we have a student town hall meeting coming up soon through Zoom. It will be on April 17th from 2 to 3 p.m. And I'm going to send out the flyer to all of you, but I think Katie already sent out an email regarding that. But it's about student evaluations and how we're able to provide and get feedback from students so that we work better, because this task force is coming to an end. It has been a precious 2 years that I have been working with them, and they're very powerful and beautiful faculty that really cares about students. So please let your constituents or any friends that you have to come to the Zoom meeting, because we will appreciate your feedback.
Thank you so much, Senator Toledo Carranza. Any other announcements? Senator Gavino?
As many of you know, I'm a member of the CSUN Filipino American Student Association, and this weekend on Sunday, we're having our 40th annual Filipino Cultural Night. It'll be a great night. There will be dance performances. There'll be an original script, which I helped write, costumes, all that. The club's been working on it for a greater part of a year now, so it'll be a really great night. We have a show at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m., and you can get tickets. They're still available, but not for long, at tickets.csunas.org, because it is an AS-supported event. We do give about $3,000 a year to help them rent out the Plaza del Sol performance. So it'll be there on Sunday, 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Tickets on the AS website. Yeah, hope you can come.
Thank you, Senator Gavino. I'll say this really quick before we end announcements. Want to piggyback off of Senator Basilio's point. So yeah, Senator Basilio actually was able to come to open forum and did make a comment about me sitting on the board of directors instead of having someone else from CSUN sit on it, since I was running for a position. And I do want to extend my appreciation, because it did influence a lot of discussion questions that did happen during my candidate statements and questions. So shout out to her. I will say there was a lot of robust discussions and questions being asked to every single candidate. And I can assure you that the leadership next year will be spectacular. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and go into final roll call. Starting next Wednesday.
Vice President Khan. Senator Aronson.
Here.
Senator Basilio. Here. Senator Gali.
Here.
Senator Gavino.
Here.
Senator Geminiano Aragon.
Here.
Senator Harris. Here. Senator Covenia. Senator Larios. Here. Senator Miyoshi.
Here.
Senator Natapure.
Here.
Senator Nunez. Senator Olgun.
Here.
Senator Perez. Here. Senator Pulliam. Here. Senator Toledo Carranza. Here. And Senator Chen.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will adjourn this meeting at 10:37 a.m. And then I will call our special meeting to order at 10:37 a.m. We'll go to the double gavel. We'll go into roll call again. Sorry.
Vice President Khan. Senator Aronson.
Here.
Senator Basilio,
Here.
Senator Gali,
Here.
Senator Gavino,
Here.
Senator Geminiano Aragon,
Here.
Senator Harris,
Here.
Senator Cavina, Senator Larios,
Here.
Senator Miyoshi,
Here.
Senator Natapure,
Here.
Senator Nunez, Senator Olgun,
Here.
Senator Perez,
Here.
Senator Pulliam,
Here.
Senator Tilly DeCronza, here, and Senator Tran.
Here.
Thank you. We have quorum.
Thank you. We will now move on to the approval of the agenda for April 14th, 2025. Is there a motion on the floor? Senator Natapudi.
I move to approve the agenda on April 14, 2025.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Pulliam. Any discussion on the approval of today's special meeting agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll take this to a vote. All in favor of approving the agenda for April 14th, 2025, please raise your hand. This passes unanimously. Thank you. We'll now move on to past special presentation. I don't think we have anyone here new for open forum, so we'll move past that. We'll move past reports into new business. First motion is to enter committee of the whole. Is there a motion on the floor? Senator Pulliam.
I move to enter committee of the whole.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Perez. Any discussion on the motion to enter committee of the whole? Seeing none, we'll take this to a vote. If there are no objections to enter committee of the whole, it'll pass unanimously. Any objections? Seeing none, we have now entered committee of the whole. First line item is to approve SB 2024-25006, call to uplift cultural houses and resource centers. Is there a motion on the floor? Senator Gavino.
I move to approve SB 2024-25006, call to uplift cultural houses and resource centers.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Perez. Any discussion? Senator Geminiano Aragon.
Yeah, so I would just like to include what we were discussing in last meeting's open forum. So I wrote down two various statements and one resolved. Maybe I can read them and then we can discuss about those. And then afterwards I can make the amendments.
Yeah.
So first various statement would be after various statement 5. And I would suggest to put whereas all cultural houses should have full-time staff that serve and advocate for the students in a rightful, acknowledgeable manner to meet their needs throughout their academic journey. And whereas in comparison to other seasoned cultural houses, the Chicano House does not have any full-time staff, nor is the university providing funding or actionable plans to recruit one. And then afterwards go to the whereas statement 6.
Okay.
And then afterwards include a resolved statement. And I would suggest to include, to ensure equity, AS urges the Seasoned Student Affairs Office to recruit and provide funding for a full-time staff to serve in the Chicano House and let it be further. So I don't know what the board thinks about that, and maybe if there is no feedback on it, I can move to amend.
Thank you for
the
putting that
resolution.
forward, Senator Geminiano Aragon. Those sound really great. Any discussion or thoughts before the amendment? Senator Basilio?
Unfortunately, the president of MECHA could not be here today. But she did send in an email last week that a couple of you did not get to hear because you were not here. That's not your fault, just it happens. So I'll reread it again. As a student organization, we, MECHA, demand that the California State University Northridge provides the Chicana House with a fully staffed house similar to that of other cultural resource facilities located on campus. Currently, the Chicana House is unable to fully operate and provide students with the proper resources and space for success. This limitation restricts our ability to offer the student body with access to the house outside of general body meetings. To ensure equity, we believe it is imperative to hold all cultural houses to the same standard. The lack of investment from the university into the Chicana House is evident in the unequal distribution of funds from the CSUN Campus Quality Fee for the academic year of 2024 to 2025. The Black House/Black Resource Center and Mentoring Program received $176,796, and the AP IDA Resource Center and Asian American Studies Pathway Project was awarded $121,133, while the Chicana House received $0. As a Hispanic Serving Institute, we demand that the university takes immediate steps towards rectifying the disparity and invest in the success and support of its Latin and non-white students. Latin bodies are more than just a statistic or a dollar sign. We demand respect, recognition, and equal treatment to succeed and be seen on campus. Our presence deserves to be valued and acknowledged, not just exploited for institutional gain. In order to ensure that the Chicana House is able to provide students with the same level of support as other cultural houses, we are demanding the following from the university. A part-time student assistant to oversee daily operations of the house and provide support to our students, the proper allocation of funds necessary to ensure the access of the Chicana House, and an equitable and inclusive approach from the university in supporting all cultural houses, acknowledging the importance of each facility and promoting a diverse campus environment.
Thank you so much for that. Okay, so is there any discussion on the whereas proposed by Senator Geminiano Aragon or in the resolved? And then also, Senator Geminiano Aragon, I wanted to mention the first whereas that you stated, where it says all the cultural houses should have full-time staff that serve and advocate for the students in a rightful, et cetera. I would recommend that you make an amendment so that it's in a resolved section, just because it's more of a demand than a whereas, where in the whereas section, you're trying to just lay down the groundwork. And then, so if you want to think right now kind of where you would want those to be placed, you can go ahead and do so. And then make the amendment whenever you feel is necessary. Senator Geminiano Aragon.
I move to amend SB 2024-25-006, call to uplift cultural houses and resource centers to add after whereas statement 5, a new whereas statement that states, in comparison to the other CSUN cultural houses, the Chicano House does not have any full-time staff, nor is the university providing funding or actionable plans to recruit one. And?
Thank you. Is there a second? Second by Senator Basilio. Any discussion on that? So that would take the place of whereas 6, and the current whereas 6 would go to whereas 7. All right, seeing none, we'll take that to a vote. All in favor of approving the amendment, and I'll reread it, to add this whereas following the current whereas 5, and it states, in comparison to the other CSUN cultural houses, the Chicano House does not have any full-time staff, nor is the university providing funding or actionable plans to recruit one. And please raise your hand if you're in approval of this. Thank you. This passes unanimously. Are there any other amendments? Senator Geminiano Aragon.
Point of information. Can I, in one motion, include 2 resolved statements?
I've heard opposing things. It's kind of like, you can, right? I've heard it different, but yes, go for it.
Okay. Okay, I move to amend SB 2024-25-006, call to uplift cultural houses and resource centers, to add after resolved number 2, the following 2 resolved statements. Resolved, all cultural houses should have a full-time staff that serve and advocate for the students in a rightful and knowledgeable manner to meet their needs throughout their academic journey. And these would be,
you could say it.
For
this would be 4. Yeah.
4, resolved, to ensure equity, AS urges the CSUN Student Affairs Office to recruit and provide funding for a full-time house staff to serve and fully operate the Chicano House, and let it be further.
Thank you. Is there a second? Oh, Tim?
I'm not sure if it would actually fall completely under student affairs, so we might want to have it just as a university in general. Because if we are just saying student affairs, but also includes academics, we want to make sure that both are being acknowledged in this.
Okay. We haven't received a second yet, so do you want to just withdraw the motion and then restate it?
Yeah.
Go for it.
This before I would make the motion, would it be better to just put season administration or just the university?
You could just put AS urges CSUN. I kind of have it like that in the rest of my demands as well, so it would work the best probably.
Right.
Go for it.
I'm ready.
Oh, I would recommend you also state associated students just because of the language of the other
Yeah.
resolves.
And then also, the all cultural houses should have full-time staff, ... It'll end with an and let it be further, not just and. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. I move to amend SB 2024-25-006, call to uplift cultural houses and resource centers to add after resolved number 2, the following 2 statements. 3, resolved, all cultural houses should have full-time staff that serve and advocate for the students in a rightful and knowledgeable manner to meet their needs throughout their academic journey, and let it be further. 4, resolved, to ensure equity, Associated Students urges CSUN to recruit and provide funding for a full-time house staff to serve and fully operate the Chicano House, and let it be further.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Pulliam. Any discussion on the amendment? Okay, we'll take the amendment to a vote. All in favor of approving the amendment stated by Senator Geminiano Aragon, please raise your hand. Thank you. This passes unanimously. All right, we'll now go back to the resolution as amended. Any further discussion on the resolution as amended? Okay, seeing none, we'll take this to a vote. All in favor of approving SB 2024-25-006, call to uplift cultural houses and resource centers as amended, please raise your hand. This passes unanimously. Thank you, everyone. We'll now move on to our second item in Committee of the Whole to approve SB 2024-25-007, continued support of the food pantry. Is there a motion on the floor? Senator Gavino.
I move to approve SB 2024-25-007, continued support of the food pantry.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Miyoshi. Any discussion? I'll give a briefing. Long story short, we currently allocate $15,000 to the food pantry annually. I have recommended that we change that amount to $20,000 because the food pantry will be relocating to the Valera Nest and will be able to offer perishable food items, which will have increased costs, and we want to continue supporting them. They'll definitely be having more foot traffic here because it's going to be relocated to right over here. Yeah, that's it. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll take this to a vote. All in favor of approving SB 2024-25-007, continued support of the food pantry, please raise your hand. This passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, well now I'll now ask for a motion to exit Committee of the Whole. Is there a motion? Senator Pulliam.
I move to exit Committee of the Whole.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Perez. Any discussion on the motion to exit? Seeing none, if there are no objections to exit Committee of the Whole, it will pass unanimously. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we have now exited Committee of the Whole. I'll go straight into discussion for the approval of the recommendations of Committee of the Whole. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'll take this to a vote. All in favor of approving the recommendations of the Committee of the Whole, please raise your hand. Thank you. This passes unanimously. Awesome. Great work, everyone. We'll now move into final roll call.
Vice President Khan, Senator Aronson,
Here.
Senator Basilio, here. Senator Gali,
Here.
Senator Gavino,
Here.
Senator Geminiano Aragon,
Here.
Senator Harris, here. Senator Covenia, Senator Larios, here. Senator Miyoshi,
Here.
Senator Nadepure,
Here.
Senator Nunez, Senator Olgun,
Here.
Senator Perez. Here. Senator Pulliam. Here. Senator Talita Cranza, here. And Senator Chen.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will adjourn this meeting at 10:52 a.m. And Senator Aronson, not to call you out, but please stay in your seat until after I adjourn the meeting for future. Thank you. All right. Have a good day, everyone.